Welcome to the Don't You Worry podcast. We're your hosts, Briley and Britton Caldwell, and we're here to say, don't you worry, through stories, encouragement, and joy. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's conversation.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Don't You Worry podcast. We are so excited to have been back last week. Our episodes have started back up, and we started our Fruit of the Spirit series.
So excited for the
which
summer.
We're going to be continuing today. Yeah, the summer lineup is so good. So stay tuned. Hope you guys are tuning in every Monday. We are so excited. But yeah, we're just going to jump right in today. We're really excited to get back into this series.
Yes. So this series, like you said, is all about the fruit of the Spirit. I am so excited for what's to come in this series, and diving into each word in the fruit of the Spirit, each fruit has been so rewarding for me because I've been able to dive into scripture and to different passages or stories or concepts in the scripture throughout all of the books of the Bible, Old and New Testament, and just really get to see how can I apply joy, or how can I apply love, or how can I apply any of these things to my life. And so last week we talked about love, which was amazing. It was a super great episode. And today we're going to talk all about joy.
Yes.
I am so excited for this episode because I just love joy. I love the concept of joy. It's kind of where we started this podcast from. It's like, don't worry, have joy.
Yeah.
And we both have talked about this on previous episodes, how we have gone through a process about our identity and trying to find words that can describe our personality and what makes us unique and what makes us the person that we are today. And one of my 4 words is joy. And it's because of a lot of laughter. I am so filled up when I'm laughing. There are a few of my friends that I literally cannot stop laughing with. And that just fills me up because that's something that I've always loved and something that I always desire when I'm around people. So I wanted to ask you, before we get started into the deep stuff today, I wanted to ask you, what is a moment in the past month that you have just laughed uncontrollably?
Okay, so there's definitely multiple, but so I just came back from a seaside beach trip, which if you haven't been watching very long, I mean, surely you figured it out if you've watched 1 or 2 episodes, because I talk about it all the time. Seaside is my favorite place on the earth.
Sure is.
Every time I come back from a trip, I'm like, I'm going to live on 30A. That's what we're going to do. So anyway, I went with some friends to Seaside this year and our parents. It was really, really fun. And throughout the week, there were a lot of things that made us laugh uncontrollably, but the number one, this is so funny. So I am very directionally challenged in everywhere I go. If I ever have to navigate an airport by myself, or I don't know, even just get downtown by myself, if there's not a GPS, I am lost. I was trying to take my friend on a surprise brunch for her birthday one time, and I knew exactly where we were going. Completely missed the turn. Ended up 20 minutes past where we were supposed to be. And she was like, where are you taking me? I'm so surprised. I was like, I don't even know. I was like, we're not going on the right way. So anyway, I'm very directionally challenged. Apparently, the one place I can navigate is Seaside and the beach. So the 4 of us, it was me and 3 of my friends, were like, we're going to go on a sunset bike ride. That would just be so aesthetic, so beautiful. And none of us have rode bikes in years, but we thought this will be so fun. So we take our bikes, we are just rolling, but I'm in the back of because we're all kind of in a single file line, and there's 1, 2, 3, me in the very back. I'm just calling out keep going. There's some good places to watch the sunset down here. And I always watch the sunset when we go with our family, either on the beach or right on the beach where we stay. So I didn't know a bunch of really good spots if we were just going to bike around somewhere. So I thought, if you guys find a spot, go ahead. I'll let you know where we're at, what we're doing. So as we're biking, I'm giving my friend a tour. I'm like, this is where I usually stay. This is the fun ice cream place that I love, and all the things. So anyway, we go, super cute, watch the sunset, and it is gorgeous. I love watching sunsets. Then I realized we have biked 4 miles to see this sunset. Therefore, we have to bike 4 miles back, which is kind of okay, that's just a challenge. But after the sun sets, it is dark, which I did not think through at all. So as we're going back, one of my friends is videoing different clips of our thing so far, and she's like, sunset bike ride, super aesthetic on the way down. The next video is just her looking at, there's shops lit up and stuff when it's a little bit dim outside, you know what I mean? And then after that, she was like, the second one was, okay, so it is completely dark outside. And the four of us, they put me in the front now because two of my friends have like an astigmatism. One of them pretty much never wears her contacts. So I was like, none of them can see at all. I was like, I am the only hope here.
Yeah.
Which one, I have really good eyesight. But also I was like, I'm the only one that's been down here this many times. Like I think one of the other girls had been to 30A before, but I was like, this is all riding on me, which my parents thought was hilarious because they were like, never put Briley in charge. But as we're riding back, it gets progressively darker and darker. Longest 4 miles of my life because these bikes are more like cruiser bikes, not really mountain bike type. So we are just cruising for a straight 4 miles next to like water, these little inlets from the ocean and everything. So I'm like yelling out, nobody fall in, like make sure your hats are staying on. Because as the wind's blowing, I can feel my hat like start to come off and I'm like, not my new beach hat. So anyway, it was so funny though. Because all of us were very locked in this entire bike ride. Bugs flying in my mouth. We're trying to like spit them out as I'm calling out like, okay, you're going to turn here. Like we're so close. All these things. None of us thought this was funny, like riding back. All of us were locked in. Like we could not see anything. We are just straight ahead, like eyes locked in and everything. But when we got back to our condo, we laughed so hard. That was one of my favorite memories of the trip. I always make good memories of the beach, but that was one of my top favorites because it was just so funny. I was like, one, I'm very proud of myself that I led everybody in my favorite little town by myself, but it was so funny. So that's probably the time I laughed the hardest in the last month.
I literally love that. There's so many moments when you're just with your friends and like you share a moment together and you just laugh uncontrollably.
It's so fun.
There was a moment this past Christmas, that me and 3 of my other friends, we all went to look at Christmas lights. And it was at night and it was really cold, which was probably the worst idea because it was literally the coldest night that we could have gone to do this. So we're all freezing and, we're getting our pictures, we're going to look at lights, having a super fun time. Well, then we go back to get in my friend's car because it's like 5 minutes away from her house and she was driving us. And so she wasn't in her car. She was in her mom's car. And we had we knew what it looked like, but apparently there were a lot of same cars that looked alike in the same parking lot because we got there and no one was really there. But then so many people started rolling in. So we were like, okay, we're cold. Let's go get in the car and like warm ourselves up and then leave.
Yeah.
So we start getting in this car and so I was like, where's my water bottle? Like, where's my purse? I left my stuff in here and it's not here anymore. I was like, did it roll under the seat? And my friend starts to put her phone in the car seat and she goes, this is not my car. And she starts yelling, wrong car, wrong car. So we start screaming and we all get out of the car and pile into her car and we died laughing.
As you're making more noise, it's probably more obvious that you're in the wrong car.
We died laughing for, I'm not even kidding, 30 minutes straight because we were just like, how did we get in the wrong car? Why did this other person leave their car unlocked? Like, what are we doing? It was just, it's so entertaining. And like, those are moments where you're going to remember them forever just because of the laughter and like because of the insane, hysterical moments.
I always think of laughter when I think of joy because it's just like that so fun feeling of just pure joy and pure excitement.
Yeah.
Like nothing could be wrong in the world. Everything is just so funny all of a sudden, even when nothing is funny.
Exactly. And like laughter sometimes is so uncontrollable.
Yeah.
And that's what I think about joy sometimes. Like when you have just great joy, it just bursts out of you.
Yeah.
So I first want to start, I have been reading a Torrin Wells book. It's called Joy Bomb, and I am a huge Torrin Wells fan, love all of his music, love his work. I just literally love his joy because he has so much joy. And I wanted to start, he had a concept in this book that he talks about the Beatitudes in Matthew 5, and he talks about true joy. So some of the first lines in the Beatitudes are, blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are those who mourn, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. And whenever you hear those kind of not personality, but when you kind of hear those characteristics, you're not thinking about joy. Like poor in spirit, mourning, hungering, and thirsting. Like that's not things that you think about when you think about pure joy. You think about laughter. You don't think about these dark situations. But he talks about how the original translation of the word blessed here is equal to happy or equal to joy. Like that's what that word means. And the qualities that are described here are not they're not what we think about. But there's a common denominator between each of these characteristics. And these are moments when you're closely connected to God. These are the moments when you are literally, connected with him so tightly that you are only relying on him. When you're mourning, when you're grieving, there's moments, we've both gone through grief and we've both gone through seasons of mourning. And those are moments when you have nothing else to cling on to and you're praying constantly. You're like, God, just take this pain away from me. And you're reading the scriptures because you don't know what else to turn to, because you know that he's your ultimate peace and he is what is going to get you through it. And whenever you are poor in spirit, when you're sad, when you're like not feeling at your best, you want to go to the word and you want to go to church, or you want to get involved with other believers. You want to get connected with God and anything, maybe worship or praise, something to get your spirits lifted. Or when you're hungering and thirsting for righteousness, God is a righteous God and that's a part of his character. And whenever you're thirsting and you're hungry, I don't know about you guys, whenever I'm hungry, I'm hangry.
Oh, me
too.
You
do not want to be near me. Like, that is a thing when you're desperate for food and you're desperate to get some water. If you're in a major heat this summer.
This was also me on the bike ride. First of all, hold on. I'm so sorry.
I can imagine.
The long bike ride, I knew there was supposed to be pizza back at the house.
Oh, my gosh.
But I hadn't texted mom and dad to say we were on our way back. I just thought, maybe they're tracking me or they know, like, the normal time frame for when we'd be back. Like, maybe they checked their phone or something.
Yeah.
I just assumed, like, after this long bike ride, we would get back to pizza. And they were like, okay, so what would you guys like on your pizza? I was like, oh my gosh. So, yeah, again.
But yeah, so
hangry.
Like, when you're hungry and when you're thirsty, that's a desperate feeling.
Yes.
And so when you're trying to be desperate for that and you're desperate for righteousness, you're desperate for God and you're getting close to him. And that kind of leads into a thing where joy comes from a relationship with God. When you're so closely connected, that's when pure happiness is shown. And like it says in Matthew and like it says in Hebrews 12:2, it says, looking to Jesus, the founder and protector of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross. I love that verse. And when I came across it, just trying to look for different passages of scripture that talked about joy, when I came across it, I fell in love with that verse because I'm thinking, what was going through Jesus' head on the cross? Well, the joy that was set before him is how he got through it. But what was that joy? That joy was us. That joy was a relationship with us. Whenever he was thinking on the cross, why else would he do it? He did it to have a relationship with us, because whenever we are living on this earth now, we have the access to have a relationship with God because Jesus died on the cross, because he crossed that barrier and he took away death. He beat it. And I think it's so beautiful when it talks about how he could get through the most, awful sense of pain in the world. I couldn't imagine a worse example of pain that you could go through on this earth than dying on a cross, because his lungs were suffocating. Like, he was being stretched out. And if you actually read it, the whole moment of the crucifixion in any of the gospel accounts, it is gruesome and you don't want to go through that. But it says that he had joy in that experience because he was thinking about, I get to have a relationship with Briley Caldwell. I get to have a relationship with Britton. Like, that is so beautiful. And it made me think about, why are we not having a relationship with God? And how can we really have a relationship with God? Like, what does that look like? And what does that relationship with Jesus look like? And I thought about how it always talks about he is our Father in heaven. He is like a brother to us, and he is like a friend. And I wanted to really break down all of those relationships that I have on this earth to then kind of point a picture. So obviously I don't have a brother on this earth, but I have a sibling. So I have a sister, and that relationship is so fun because there's a banter between us and there's kind of tension sometimes, but also there's so much fun to where I could be my absolute unhinged self around you and I wouldn't think anything of it because you know me. We've grown up together, that you know that I'm insane sometimes.
We've been around each other through like the worst possible awkward middle school moments, like all of it.
Exactly. There are moments where we've been broken together. We've been awkward together. We've been hysterical together. We've been at our highs, our lows. We've experienced all of life together. And having that kind of relationship is unlike anything else. There are some people that I know that are only children, and I'm like, you will never understand what it's like to have a sibling, because yes, there's moments when we cannot stand each other because we're so close that we fight. But also there's moments when I wouldn't trade it for the world, because there's something so beautiful, especially like we've been so close all of our childhood. Like this next season, when you go off to college, it's going to be so different, and that's going to be hard. But there's moments when we're going to get through it, and we're still going to be sisters. We're still going to have that sibling relationship. And I think we need to have that with Jesus, and we need to have that super closeness to where you can be your absolute self around him, because he knows you. He's known you from the beginning. That is who he is. And he has been with you through the highs and through the lows. And a relationship, having him as a father. I know that my relationship with my father, I will not cross my father, because he has authority over me, because God has placed authority in him in this lifetime to be able to guide me and lead me
Discipline.
to, discipline, and have all of those moments where I'm not best friends with my dad, because he has an authority over me that whenever I cross the line, it's his job to correct me on that. And it's his job to discipline me, to make me better. And I think that is also so important to have with Jesus, because we need to respect him, because he created the entire earth. There is a throne room in heaven right now with angels circling him, shouting how holy he is. There is something so powerful about that, to where we need to recognize that it's not just that sibling relationship where you can just spout out things and be like, yeah, well, you did this to me. Well, then he's gonna put you in your place, because you can't talk back to your parents without them giving you a little whooping. And like you need to make sure that he is at the rightful place in your mind as well. And the last one I want to talk about is a friend relationship, a best friend relationship. I have a best friend, you have a best friend. There's those people in your life where you're not siblings and you don't have the same relationship as a sibling, but there's something so close that you haven't grown up together. My best friend, I met her a couple years ago. Yeah, I'm so close with her. And there's these times when she doesn't know how I grew up. She doesn't, I mean, yes, we've gotten to know each other and we've gotten to tell each other about our childhood and everything, but she also she's not known me from the very beginning.
Right.
But she has, she's been through things with me, and I love being with her. I love getting to experience fun things with her. I love to experience life, experience Bible studies, and getting closer in our relationship together. And just being able to, whenever you are scrolling on Reels, or whenever you're doing something out in real life, and you're like, oh my gosh, I think about my best friend when I'm thinking about this. There's constant moments where you want to talk to them, or something happens in your life and you want to shoot them a text message right away. Like, oh my gosh, this guy just talked to me. I had the best conversation. You're talking to your best friend about it. You're talking about everything, and you're thinking about them constantly, and you're like, how can I do this with them? How can I make plans? How can I do all of these things to get closer with them and just experience life with them? I think that is one of the most important things to have with Jesus, because you need to be constantly thinking about him and think, how can I see God in these moments in my life? How can I be in the mountains and look at the vast, beautiful ocean, or whatever it is, and you're thinking, God created this. I want to think about him, and then just talk to him out loud, because that's prayer, and that's connecting with God the Father. And just having that relationship with God will produce pure joy in your life, because when you're looking at all of the things that God has blessed you with in your life, or when you're looking at the landscape, you're looking at everything, God is in all of it. And that's just so beautiful. I know we interviewed Carrie Morton last year on the podcast, and she went through cancer, and she had kind of a rough story, but she was one of the most joyful people that I talked to, because she was constantly talking about, I just thought, God's going to get me through this, and if he doesn't, I'm going to be with him. And I'm like, that is so beautiful
to have joy at that absolute low is insane.
Exactly. That comes only from a pure relationship with God, because you can tell how closely connected she was to the Lord, because she's thinking about him and she's pouring into her relationship with him, because that's what she talked about so much. I just noticed from that conversation I got out that she just constantly said, well, God did this in my life. Well, I woke up one morning and I could just see God. I could just see him in every area of my life. And I think that is so important when you look at people that are struggling, but yet they have pure joy. It's because of that relationship with God.
Right. And like you were saying about the best friend thing, when I see a certain food or clothing item or some sign or something, I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes me think of my best friend. And you do the same.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking about this on my beach trip. It makes me think every time I'm on the beach, I feel so much joy. And one, that's just because it's beautiful. But it truly does make me feel closer to God because as I was telling some of my friends, like when you're at the beach and sand is everywhere, you cannot get it off. Like no matter how hard you shower, you try, it's always still somewhere. And I was thinking about it when I was laying on the beach. You know how like you'll have some sand on your hand or something. You look and you see each individual grain of sand. And it made me think of that verse that I may have shared this on the podcast before, but it made me think of that verse that's like, how great is his love for you, it outnumbers the sand on the shore and everything. And it's like just looking at the tiny pieces of sand and then looking to the side and seeing all of this sand go on and on. Like that's something that makes me think of Jesus and think of his power and authority. So all of those relationships kind of merge into one. It's like Jesus is your brother, but he's also your best friend, and he's also your father. He's authority over us. He's much more powerful than us, and we can't even compare ourselves to who he is. But I actually, as you were talking about seeing God and looking for him in everything, our dad told us a couple weeks ago, or specifically he was talking to me about it. I was being really negative about a situation because sometimes I'm bad about if something's negative, then everything's negative, and I'll spiral. I used to be really, really bad about this, about if something goes wrong, then I'm like, well, the world is ending. Everything's bad. But no, it's not. But he was saying, if you're looking for the negative, you're going to find it.
Right.
If you're looking for the positive, you're going to find it. You will look, whatever you're looking for, you're going to see. It's kind of like when you play the Where's Waldo game as a kid, like you are only paying attention to where he is. You're not paying attention to anything else that's going on. If you're looking for that one thing, eventually you're going to find it. And it made me think of one of my favorite verses. This has been my life verse for the year. And it's Matthew 6:33. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and these things will be added to you. And that the part of the verse that says these things means the fruit of the Spirit. If you're seeking God first, then love, joy, peace, patience, all of those spirits will just be added to your life, and you will see more of it. So in every single day, if you're looking for the negative things, then you're not going to see that fruit of the Spirit in your life. You're not going to experience it. But if you are seeking God first and seeking your relationship with Christ first, there's going to be this overwhelming joy in your life. Like you said, even with Carrie's situation or with other situations of people that we've interviewed, it may not always be a super high of a moment, but there's still a joy that you can have, not because you're happy. You don't have to be happy to have joy in the sense of the world. It's like, oh, everything's going great. But just having that relationship with God first in your life, seeking him first, there is an overwhelming joy that will be experienced. So that's kind of our challenge today, is to seek God above everything else going on in your life.
Yeah, just to encourage you guys today, I love joy, and I love the idea of just having that relationship with God, and that's going to produce joy because that makes it so simple. Because I feel like a lot of times people are trying to find joy in different things in the world, or trying to find, how can I most experience joy? Maybe I need to go experience a bunch of things or do a bunch of things. Yes, money, anything in the world, but it's really just a relationship with God. You just need to pray to him anytime that you think about him. Just pray. I mean, like you were saying about when you were on the beach. I was on the beach last year, and it was on our family trip, and everyone had gone up, and I was like, yeah, I'm right behind you guys. And I just stood and I looked out at the ocean, and I saw God, and I just saw him in the sunset, and I was like, this is so beautiful. This is his creation. He made all of this. And I just started praying. I was like, I don't care who sees me, who just sees me staring out at the ocean. I am literally just talking to God in this moment. And it's such a connection that is unlike anything else, that is so beautiful. And you have joy. Then I was bebopping up the stairs on my way back to the condo because it's so beautiful. So I want to just encourage you guys today that you just need to dive into a relationship with God. Just pray to him, listen to his word, read his word, and just constantly think about him in every area and try to find him. Seek first the kingdom, and joy will be added to your life. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week this week, and we will see you back next week for a great conversation.